Oh, that's cool. There's a new little feature on Zoom now where you can click pause or stop on the recording. Like before it was just stop and then it would make a whole new file. I wonder if pause means pause. No, anyways. Okay, so it is our first team call after Super Saturday, and I was so excited to see that a bunch of you guys went and attended Super Saturday events. We have Sean on our call tonight, showing up here. So I actually went and attended his event in Canada, so that was really awesome. And I had a great time there, and the event was great, an awesome turnout. We had a corporate person that came and spoke, and it was somebody that I had never met before, so it was cool to meet him. Actually, most of the people there I had not met before. Maybe like a couple people because they're Dynasty people and I've met them at Summit and things like that. But for the most part, it was a whole new group for me. And, they were all super welcoming and we had a great time. But I just want to real quick just see who else has any takeaways from Super Saturday. I know, Phyllis, you went to the New York City one and that was a really big event. Do you have any takeaways from
It was really cool for me because normally the ones I go to are out here on Long Island where I live. Mm-hmm. And they're fine, but they're small, and there's never, anyone notable to, speak or anything. So not only was Carl there, which was really fun because I'd never been to, an event, Summit, but, a smaller event like that with him. And, of course, Scotty and Gabby were there, so that was fun. I got to see them. I haven't seen them since Gatlinburg. Well, I guess at Summit, but not really like talking to them. So that was good. And, it's just a different energy in the room, and it was also run by top New York coaches. So it was a good experience. It was a different experience.
Yeah. Did you get to go to the Q&A session?
No, I didn't. It was sold out by the time I decided which Summit, because I was deciding between that one and the Tarrytown one on Sunday. But I went to the city one. So yeah, it was sold out, but it was really good. There were really good speakers, but I always am inspired by the speakers, but I think, there was also such good information. 2 new Shakeology flavors, the 2 new workouts, and we had Leandro there. So that was fun.
Oh, wow. You guys had a lot. Jeez.
Yeah. He was fun. He got everybody up. He's cute.
Sure. Got everyone up shaking their boom booms.
Exactly. So it was good. It was, like I said, it was a different experience, and I've been to I don't know how many already, like a lot, and this was like by far the best.
Yeah, I bet. Alicia, you just jumped on. You went to Super Saturday to a bigger event, didn't you? No?
No, I didn't. It was about 4 hours south of here. Carl Deichler was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I was all registered to go, but I couldn't make it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't dare take all 3 kids to Super Saturday.
Yeah,
why not?
It's a lot to sit through with kids.
Yeah, I didn't really know how that was going to go. So I just opted out for this time. But yeah, I felt like I missed a ton, especially because Carl Deichler was there.
Yeah, it was crazy to me to see how many Super Saturdays Carl was at.
I know.
Nuts.
Yeah, he was busy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was leaving from ours to go to Kansas City.
Yeah. But I guess it helps when you have your own jet to bring you. You're not waiting in line for TSA every single time.
I wasn't really crying for him.
So that's a little different experience, but so anyways, I hope you guys do take a minute to, if you go on my page, on my personal page, on my live videos, there is my speech that I gave at Sean's Super Saturday event. And I think you said in the Dynasty page, you're going to put together a video with the slides kind of incorporated. So that'll be cool once that.
Yeah, I'll have that up in the next few days.
Okay, cool. All right, so tonight I wanted to talk about what to do when your business kind of takes a dip. And just depending on where you're at in your business, whether you're a newbie or you've been around, I'm coming up to my 6-year anniversary, which is crazy. It'll be 6 years for me in May. So obviously for me, I've been around long enough to know that I should expect some roller coaster effect, some ups and downs, highs and lows, and that kind of thing. But if you experience like the dip for your first time, then you feel like, oh crap, like what happened? Everything was going so great. My income was going on this upward trend, and, and I was attracting people like crazy, and everybody was like, everything was working just like it's supposed to, and your income is starting to increase. And then when you get this kind of dip that happens, then you feel like, oh no. And if you haven't like survived the dip yet, or you haven't gone through it before, whether in Beachbody or some other business, then you don't necessarily have that belief or confidence that everything is going to come back around again. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit, and just kind of maybe share a little bit of my experience with it. And I didn't like some people are really good about tracking their income, and they have all these fancy charts and stuff like that. And I don't have anything like that, but I can tell you for sure that my income today, or even Q1, is probably about half, or maybe just a little bit more than half of what it was in Q1 of last year. So when you have a business where it's, you guys know, Mike and I, this is our family's income. This is what we do. I mean, we have our rental business with the cabins and stuff, but primarily this is what we rely on for our week-to-week stuff. And so when we see like a dip like that, it's definitely like, oh crap, what do I do? And and I'll definitely be honest and tell you that there have been times where I've been like, all right, well, is this just the end? Like, I mean, I guess I signed up as a coach. I didn't really think I was going to be a coach till I was 80 years old. Like, there has to be an end at some point, I guess. And like, you start to let that self-doubt come in, and you start to just kind of like blame and kind of reflect and see, why did this happen? What's happening? But I guess what I want to share with you guys is kind of just maybe like the norm of what happens with this, and maybe just some light at the end of the tunnel on things that you can do and what you can expect. So when you have these dips in your business, the thing that you need to realize is that people are flaky, like not just in Beachbody, just in general, people are flaky. You're probably flaky, in some ways. I am. Like, I don't do anything for a long time, which makes it really weird that I have stuck with it and stayed consistent with this, because normally I'm one that has this new great grand idea, and then I'm like day 1, day 2, day 3, and then I'm totally lost it and moved on to something else. But like for me, Beachbody has been that one consistent, solid thing in my life, other than my family, of course. But that's been the thing, the solid rock. But you have to realize that that's not the norm. Like, most people are always looking for the next thing. They want the easy fix. They want something that's quick, something that is just going to happen overnight. And while we all understand that doesn't exist, there is no quick fix. You have to invest. Whether it's your business or your fitness journey, you have to invest that time and that energy and that sweat equity into doing these things if you want to actually see results. But for the most part, human nature, people are going to quit, people are going to give up, and people are going to get impatient. So this is a business that doesn't give you overnight results. Most of the time, if you are doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, you're doing all your invites, you're doing your workouts, you're doing your PD, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden, like, all the stars have aligned and everything was working, and your next paycheck is going to reflect all the hard work that you started doing. It's usually like a 3 or 4 month turnaround before you see the results of the fruits of your labor. But that requires patience. And for people that are flaky and people that are impatient, which are two very normal traits of human beings, that's why it's harder for people to stick around and say, you know what, I think this is going to pay off. I think that my efforts are going to, at some point turn into this thing that I see everyone else posting about. So if those coaches that, have like, let's say that those coaches were working and doing and creating teams on your weak leg, and that is kind of what built your weak leg and built that team volume to be an income that you were getting used to getting, and then they start flaking out, that kind of will make you lose steam too, because you're kind of like, hey, what happened? We had a good thing going. We were doing stuff. We were, running groups together. We were cheering each other on. I had you on my recognition slides. Why are you flaking out on me? And like the very first initial reaction that we do is we start to like blame everybody else, because we want to know, why is this happening to me? And like, you want to blame Beachbody, and you want to say, well, why are they making it so that you can only get Success Club points on a person one time? And why are they taking this out of the product catalog? And what happened to the volume? Like, it used to be on the 28th, you would get this gigantic surge of volume, and then it's not there anymore. Like, what did Beachbody do? Why did they take this away? And like, then you go to like blaming your challengers, and then you go to blaming your team. Well, they're not showing up on the calls, and they're not reading their PD. And like, there's a million reasons why. But then you start to like, all right, well, I've gone the blame game as much as I can. And then you start putting it in, like you turn it around and put it on yourself, which is the worst thing that you can do. But that's what we end up doing. So we start blaming ourselves. Well, I've been a crappy coach, and my challengers are just not getting results. And, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing enough. And like all of those initial self-doubting behaviors, those negative mindsets that we worked so hard to turn around, like in the beginning of your journey as a coach, you start letting all of those back in, all of those like self-doubting confidence type things. Is there something wrong with me? Why can't I attract any business builders? Why is it not happening? And so like when you start to do that, then it takes away your own confidence that you've been building up, and it takes away your own belief that you've been building up, that Beachbody is going to be, the avenue to the goals that you set up for yourself, and the avenue to get to that why that you set up for yourself. So then that's like two bad things that happen. And I talked a lot about this to you kind of in a different way about filling your cup at Super Saturday. So that kind of ties into this, but I didn't want to talk about the same thing. So you get to those two places of blame. And then the third thing, and those are normal. Like, I just want to tell you guys, you're not crazy for doing that or getting into that. Like, I think it's totally normal behavior. But then the third thing is that you just have to take a deep breath. And like, this is actually something that I've been teaching our son, our 4-year-old, like, cause he's getting now to the point where he needs to calm down sometimes. Well, he's not just getting to that point. That's happened a long time ago, but he's just now getting to the point where I can explain to him how to calm down. And so like, we taught him take 3 deep breaths and then say, woo-sa. And it's so funny because sometimes like if Mike and I are like having a heated discussion, or like I've even heard, like I've been on the phone with Mike and Mikey in the car, and like Mike was upset about something, and I heard him in the background saying, "Daddy, woo-sa." And it was so cute. But anyways, like you have to get to that third step of just taking a step back, calming yourself down, realizing that it's going to be okay. This is normal. Like if you actually look at statistics about small businesses and stuff like that, you can see that this is a normal trend that happens in businesses. Like there's no such thing as a business that like starts here from zero and just goes on this straight like angle of upward trend happiness all the time. It just doesn't happen. But here is the cool thing about a dip, and you wouldn't think that there is a cool thing because it sucks when you're in the low part of it. But the cool thing is that you have to realize most people will give up. Most people will say, this isn't worth my time. It's not worth my energy. It's too hard. It's too much. It's not working. Like all those negative things, they're going to say that and use that as a reason to give up. But guess what? I'm not, and you're not. And, you know, that is exciting to me, knowing that I'm not going to give up and the majority of everyone else is going to. So that just makes me know that that victory, like at the end of going through this dip, is going to be that much better. It's going to be like my ice cream cone is going to be that much bigger because there's going to be a bunch of people that didn't show up for the ice cream. So I get to have like all their servings. So that is like exciting to me. And that's something that like keeps me energized to know, I know it sucks right now, but when I get to the end of this and when I like rebuild and restructure things that maybe I've, that maybe I need to readjust, that the success is going to taste that much sweeter. So one thing I wanted to tell you guys is that you guys are the CEO of your business, which you guys know that. And what is a CEO? I posted something in our top coach group today, which is our Diamond and Above group. That was an excerpt from John Gordon, who wrote The Energy Bus. And he doesn't refer to a CEO as like what we do like in normal corporate land of like chief executive officer. He calls it chief energy officer. So if you are the CEO of your business and the CEO of your team, the CEO of your challenge group, you are the chief energy officer. So that energy that you're putting into these things, whether it's negative or full of blame or shame or doubt or lack of confidence, is that what you're putting in? Is that what you're showing up to the board meeting with? Or are you showing up with enthusiasm and excitement and joy and passion? And like, just like a CEO of any business, like in corporate land, they have bad days too. They have bad trends, dips, things like that they experience. And they still show up to their board meetings with, all right, here's the solution. This is what we're going to do. This is what we need to look at. They don't come down they don't show up as like Debbie Downers, because then that energy is going to trickle down into all the, sub teams or whatever you call it. Like I forget now, like the other corporate little groups. So you are the one that originates that energy. So you have to be the one to decide what it's going to be. Is it going to be an energy of excitement and optimism? Or is it going to be all right, guys, we can get through it. It's going to be okay. Or is it going to be like, you know what? We're still doing this. We're still changing lives. We're still going to like show up and we're going to celebrate with each other at the end of this finish line. But you do have to use these times, like these times of dips or whatever in your business, to kind of reflect on some of the things that you're doing in your business. Is there something that you need to change up? Is there something that you need to look at and adjust in how you're doing your challenge groups? And are you doing Coach Basics anymore? Are you doing preview groups or, excuse me, or, like coach webinar, or what do you call it? Like a coach opportunity webinar type thing. Some of those things that you maybe did in phase one of your business when you were new and you were like following all the rules and doing all the things that you're supposed to do. And you need to go back and kind of maybe take yourself back to phase one, take yourself back to the beginning. And that's kind of how you need to get that newbie feeling again, is going back to those initial behaviors. And when you go back to the initial behaviors, the cool thing about that is you're not starting with your newbie knowledge. You're starting with your knowledge that you've gained over the last the last amount of time that you've been a coach. So you don't have to feel bad for starting at square one, because you're starting at square one with all this information now. Like, how many times did you say when you were a brand new coach, every time that you learned something new and you're like, man, I wish I would have known that. I wish I would have known there was a TBB mobile enrollment. I wish I would have known there was a challenge guide post thingy where you can have all the posts already made. So you have all that information already. So going back and starting from square one and doing those initial like getting started behaviors, you're like at an advantage now because you have all these cool like tidbits of information that you've picked up from team calls and from experience and from trainings and Super Saturdays and Summit and all that stuff. So use that information. Don't let it just be sitting there in your binders and your notebooks and stuff like that. And I know we've had a lot of talks, Phyllis and I have talked about that a lot, about how we have like all these random notebooks with notes from here and there. And it's like, who knows what to do with it all. So one thing that I know for me personally, I am really trying to revamp my challenge groups because you know, the core of this business is challenge groups and getting people success in their fitness journey. And so that's kind of where I am putting some of my attention into changing things up. And it was so, I wish I would have taken a picture of this, but when we were traveling back from Canada, we were going through customs, and it was like in the US section. So it was US Customs and Border Control. And they had this big sign, like while you were waiting in line. And it was like US Customs commitments and promises to Americans. And it had like 8 things. And I was searching for it online and I couldn't find it. But basically it was like 8 promises that they're giving to you as an American, saying like, we promise to, you know, keep you safe, and we promise to, you know, respect your space, and to like blah, 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 like just government-y stuff. But, and I thought, what if we created something like that as something that we post in our challenge groups, or even like our Coach Basics or new coach training groups, that are promises that we're going to deliver to that challenge group, or that we're going to deliver to that coach training group. Like I know that I've personally flaked out on coach training groups before, on diamond training groups before, because I posted and nobody ever responded. And then I was just like, I'm not posting in here anymore. But like, what if we created something that was like, these are my promises to you. These are my vows. These are the things that I am going to live up to. This is what you can expect from me. And I just like, when I saw that from the US Customs thing, I was like, that's really cool. And I think that would be a really cool thing to kind of implement into those groups too. So that was just a random idea. But anyways, let me see my other notes. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to say was basically the slide that I put into our team page for the call announcement tonight, that they don't serve champagne at pity parties, which is one of my favorite quotes from Cara Alwill. And I've read all of her books except her most recent, but I'm pretty sure she said it in Girl Code. And so let's talk about self-pity for a second. They don't serve champagne at pity parties. And if you take these dips or these like these small setbacks in your business as a pity party, then it's going to be that much harder for you to get to a new place of celebrating your business and seeing success. So like, you cannot take it as a woe is me, it's only happening to me, what's wrong with me? Like, you have to get out of that, like get out of your own head and just say, all right, I'm the CEO. What am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? How am I going to turn this around? And that's kind of what your job is as the CEO of this business of yours. And it's up to you to figure out what you're going to change. And even if and like I said, we have to be patient to see results. So it's not going to be something you see overnight. So it has to be something that you're going to be willing to commit to and stick with. But the cool thing with this business is that you can make a change today, and you may not see the income reflected in the change tomorrow or Thursday morning, but the thing that you can see an immediate change in is your level of fulfillment. You can change something right now that's going to bring you more joy from doing the daily activities of this business, and you'll feel immediately more satisfied and fulfilled from working your business, regardless of the income. And that is where your why comes in. And that's where knowing that you are working towards building this future, building this business, building the wealth, building whatever it is that you're working towards, you can feel that immediately, regardless of your paycheck. And I think that that's one of the really cool things about this particular type of income, or this particular style of business anyways. So that's pretty much all I had. Did anybody else, we probably have about like 5 minutes or so left. So did anybody have any thoughts or ideas or takeaways or anything that they would like to share on this topic? My favorite crickety part of the call. No. Okay. Oh, wait. I thought I saw somebody come on.
I was thinking about it.
Okay.
I know you don't like crickets. No, I've been changing it up on my page just to make it more interesting and just trying something different. And I found that my challenge group was starting to fall asleep in a sense. People were still posting, but it wasn't like what it was. So with this new, started a new group of just brand new people, and I just set the expectation at the front. So instead of, hey, if you feel like it, or have that feeling and trying to teach old dogs new tricks, it was just like, well, this is what it is, and this is the way it's going to be. And then when they'll be switched over to the new group, I'm hoping that they'll keep those habits going and bring in more spice of life kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So what made you decide to change things up in your challenge group? Was it because you were noticing a dip, or you just felt like it was time to change, or?
Maybe a little bit of a dip. I think with Beachbody doing these health bets, you have everybody posting, and as soon as they get their check, they stop. And so with the new people coming in, I have them in a separate group right now, and I'm just trying to get them that this is just what we do instead of this is what we do just during the health bet, And so when they're introduced to the larger group, once their initial group is done, I'm hoping that they'll continue on, and then more people do anything unless if there's a health bet going on. Help breathe new life into it. That's the hope. We'll see.
Yeah.
Fail forward.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I like that. And I agree. Like, I think that people are so motivated during the health bet. Even when, the first time we did the health bet, I don't think anybody really had an idea of, how much to expect the payout to be. But then we did it and we realized, all right, it's going to be, in the teens. And then people were still excited about that amount the second time, too. Which I thought was, interesting because, I don't know. I just, the amount of motivation people have to, check in on the app and stuff for that blows my mind. But then if there's not any other reward attached to it, then they don't do it as much. So what kind of rewards are you doing?
I haven't done a reward. I tried doing a reward with the other group, and it didn't, of my initial group, my big group, and it's not working out so well. So I haven't really done one with this. The reward is being in the group. I provided 30 days of meals, but you had to be on Shakeology for this group. So it's a little bit different than what I've done things in the past. So I figured it was a good time to just try some new stuff and see how it goes.
Yeah, cool.
You don't know unless you try. So I came up with a 30-day plan. It's not a meal plan. It's a meal idea guide that people can just pull things from. And it's all containers. So they don't have to figure out containers or anything like that. They can just look at it, kind of pick what they want for that week out of it. And breakfast is always a Shakeology recipe, and then the rest of it. It's not snacks. People are you know, we're adults, you can figure out your snack, but you know, it's lunch and dinner ideas that are quick and easy and probably family friendly. And it took a while to build, but I think, you know, I'll just keep reusing it. So it's like a thing that never ends.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yep.
All right. So anyone else before we log off for the night? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for hopping on and for joining me for our call tonight. Also, before I forgot to mention this earlier, but as part of what I've been reviewing and reflecting on, as far as things that I may want to change with my groups and things like that, I've also kind of thought about our team call as far as like how we're doing it, what kind of content I'm providing. Monday nights, is Monday the best day? Is nighttime the best time? Is slides the best way, or is open dialogue the best way? And so I think next week we were supposed to have Scotty this week, but then he was in New York for Super Saturday and everything. I think they're still there, maybe. So I think it's going to be a week from today. But I'm definitely probably going to be making some changes on how we do the call. And, you know, I just want to be respectful of your guys' time and vice versa. And I just want to make the best use of this time. So anyways, that'll be coming up the pipeline too. So, all right. I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you later. Bye.